to Sykesville, Maryland. Hi there, Jeffrey.
Hi, ma'am. My name's I'm calling in regard to the one-sidedness of the discussion today about gun ownership. As a gun owner and a taxpaying American and a law-abiding citizen, I'm just deeply concerned about how people that have very little knowledge of guns and the principles behind gun ownership and the Second Amendment have pretty much controlled the debate over the issue, and the demonization of gun owners and the NRA in particular it's really offended me. And it just, specifically your show, and I'm a longtime listener. Excuse my nervousness, but I'm a longtime listener, and I've always looked to you for some side of of objectivity, and it's just clearly lacking here, and it's just deeply offending me. I don't understand why you can't at least have one panelist on there that at least had the resemblance of the understanding of the Second Amendment, how it's not for sporting or hunting, but it's a way of protecting the people from an oppressed government.
Now, there is nothing in that Second Amendment about protecting one from the government.
Look, let me say broadly, Diane, there are many millions of people, including my in-laws, who are gun owners and believers in gun rights. I think that the idea that everyone in this country thinks guns should be more restricted is not true. We know that major hit on this. When the crime bill and the assault weapons ban sunsetted in 2004, there was zero political interest, and that doesn't just mean from Republicans. There was zero political interest in doing anything about it. Go back and look at the number of times Barack Obama, the Democratic candidate for president in 2008, talked about guns. Go back and look at how many times guns were mentioned in the 2012 debates. I did it. It was one question in one of the three debates that they both, Mitt Romney and Barack Obama, summarily sort of answered, and that was it. So they've stayed away from it for a reason, which is that the last 15 years or so, it has become clear to many Democratic Party strategists that the country simply does not want more restrictions on guns. At most, they want the current laws to be enforced, which they are and they are not, but they do not want more. Now, in the wake of Newtown, when you have the number of children, young children, murdered, there has been movement on some aspects in terms of public opinion on gun control. I would say there is still not as much movement as people think there should. Some people think there should be. And I would say that we've just spent 10 minutes at least talking about how I think the three of us agree that the idea of a huge comprehensive thing that would drastically restrict or change gun rights is almost certainly not going to pass the U.S. House or Senate. I would say I still think there has to be a middle ground between confiscating every gun in the country and banning the sale of firearms, which nobody wants, and the opposite, which is we can never make common sense. We can never update and make common sense gun laws that 75 to 80% of the country agree on. There has to be a gray area there. Unfortunately, on this issue, Diane, there has not been.
And if I could just say, I fundamentally disagree with Jeffrey. I've spent a lot of time educating myself about this issue. I speak credibly about guns, the underlying laws, and I've tried to describe very accurately what the laws do and don't do. I've tried to educate myself. There's nothing I've said today, or I think anyone on this panel has said, advocating a position one way or the other. If I've insufficiently defended the Second Amendment in Jeffrey's opinion, fine. That's not my role. I've described everything I know about underlying laws, where the Biden task force is heading, and what the underlying politics are, and I'll stand by it.